Good morning. I still have quite the stuffy nose. How is everyone? Anyone have any big plans today? Obviously, they can't be that big because we have to stay home. So they're not going to be big. But I'm thinking after the live, I might do some house reorganizing. And we'll see how that goes. Ooh, Kimmy is sorting the mess that is her floss stash. Ooh, take a picture and tag me. I love seeing everyone's floss stash. Bam Beck is having a virtual lunch date with her girlfriend on FaceTime. That is amazing. I love all these FaceTime dates that people are doing at the moment. It sounds so talking to people. Texting is great, but I think sometimes talking on the phone, I don't really like FaceTime, to be fair, because most of the time I don't get ready for the day, so I'm a bit disheveled. But even just calling and talking to someone is so nice. So here's the deal today. We're going to be doing the anemone, which is this one. And I'm going to make mine kind of a white, light yellow, off-white color on the tips. And then we're going to do this light purple kind of coming out in a little burst. So it's thread painting day. So please don't hate me. I will probably go live again later tonight, and then we can work on it a little bit more because there's no way you're going to be able to do this in 20 to 30 minutes. But that is fine. This is something you can work on a little bit at a time, one petal at a time, and kind of take it from there, So what my inspiration picture is, because anemones have a lot of different colors. There's a lot of different variations of them. So let me just move that out the way for a minute. And I'm going to try and do this. There's a lot of glare. You can see my shirt. I'm going to try and do this kind of white color with a little bit of an off-white / yellow. And then the purple coming out. And then a dark purple ring around. So if you look at the drawing, there's a ring here, and then there's a smaller ring. That one's going to be the green little dots. And then I'm going to do a bunch of purple French knots, probably one strand, one wrap for the center. So right now, we're just going to focus on these leaves. And yes, we are going to do just one strand. And I'm going to do the white color first. So let's see what happens. Now, some people do an outline around here. You can if you want to. I think I might try that for this time and see how it looks. So I just have regular white thread, and I've got 2 strands, and I'm going to do just a little backstitch outline just around the very tip of this petal here. Hi, Sarah. And let's see if that makes a difference or doesn't. Normally I don't do it this way. No real reason why I don't, but I'll just do the whole petal. Maybe it'll give a nice... Also, David's just gone to the store. We haven't gone to the store since last weekend. And we have a couple meals in our freezer, so we probably could go another 1 or 2 days. But we're trying to keep the freezer meals for you know, like an emergency. Okay, so this is just the prep work. Yeah. JoJo says, hooray, I get to join live. Sarah says, I've not even started day one yet. Been too busy working from home and homeschooling. That's totally fine. All of the videos are still going to be there. I have no intention of taking them down. Mike said Steve was at Morrison's at 6:30 a.m. for the NHS workers. Goodness, I just saw online someone says that they tried to go to Tesco. It's not the one near me, but they tried to go to Tesco, and there was a 1.5 hour wait to get in. So, yikes. Okay, so obviously if I was doing this whole flower at one time, I would then do the same thing to all the other ones. But because I'm probably just going to do one leaf, maybe two, I'm going to end it there and then switch to just one strand because I want to get a nice little blend going on. So just the one little strand. And we're going to mark, let me get my smaller needle. I'm gonna mark on the actual fabric, on the flower, where I want to start stitching which colors. And it's kind of just like a little outline. So let's try and see if this will work. Snip it off. Okay, so because I have a purple pen here, it looks like there's some purple that goes up like this in the middle, like that, and then maybe we'll do like a little bit of yellow on the outside, like that. So what I'm going to do is I want all of my stitches to kind of go in facing in like this. I hope that you can see that. I know I've just covered up what I've drawn, but that's okay because I know. I can tell. Guys, the nose won't quit. I should probably take some medicine, but I just don't really feel like it. So here we go. We're going to go on the outside of this line. And we're going to make all of our stitches are going to be pointing to the center. And I like to do make them varied with like long and short, and that way they will blend in a bit more. Oh, good. Isn't that always fun? I hate when I get a knot with just one strand. It takes so long to get it out. That's okay. So we're just going to continue. I'm doing white all along the edges because that's kind of how it looks in the picture. But I do want to fill this up. So even though that I'm using white and the fabric is white, I want to make sure that I'm really covering up all of the white fabric and that it's like a nice solid line. Now I'm only using one strand because I want these colors to blend nice and easily. Now, if you are not keen to do a thread painting, or if you feel like, I mean, I think you should give it a go, even if you've never done any stitching before, because it's something that, oh, I haven't got hay fever. JoJo says, maybe you have a spot of hay fever to go with your cold. Tree pollen was bad yesterday. I know I am suffering. Oh, but I don't have allergies. I've never had hay fever, like, ever, so if it is, then it's literally, this is the first time in my entire life that I've ever had it. But yeah, so even if you haven't ever stitched before, I totally think give it a go, because you can't mess it up. Like, there's no real way to to do it so poorly that you'll mess it up so bad. Do you know what I mean? So really try and give it a go. And then you can see how it is. So hopefully you can kind of tell that I'm angling these all slightly in. And then I'll go back and kind of fill them in a little bit more. I feel like my words of this stitch along are kind of and totally. That's totally fine. You can kind of fill it in. We're going to kind of do it like this. Oh, so annoying. You know, when like you're watching stories and you can hear someone go, and you're like, oh my God, just spit it out. That's how I feel about myself with kind of, and the totally fine. That's totally fine. I'm like annoying myself with it. Like, just totally shut up, Tori. Sarah's laughing at me. My mom just said, or me with the word typically. Yeah, she always uses the word typically. Okay, so all I'm doing is just filling this in solidly, but also making sure that some are long and some are short. So there's no real pattern or anything like that to this. I'm just making sure that there's no two longs next to each other or two shorts next to each other, so that it really looks, oops, jagged like that. And then in a minute, I'm going to take that off-white color and fill in some of the, let me just look at the picture again, because I feel like on the sides they're also white. So this is where it's really nice to have a reference photo if you're doing anything with thread painting, because you can really see what it's meant to look like. And where you can put your colors in. And the reason I told you that David went to the grocery store is because he might come back whilst I'm doing this live still. I don't know. So this seems like chaos, I'm not gonna lie. But you kind of really have to just embrace the crazy. Embrace that there's no pattern, there's no way to screw it up. All you're doing is angling your stitches straight in the middle, this way and that way, so that they go out like a fan. Okay, so let's do, I knew I had a knot on the back there. Okay, so let's do this off-white color just a little bit. And if you remember from the picture, the off-white colors is a little bit in the middle and to the outside edges. Not all the way. Ooh, Sarah says she's waiting for her Asda food delivery this morning. See, we looked to get a food delivery, but it was like all booked for 2 weeks out. So we were like, let's just go to Aldi. Well, he's going to go to Aldi because there's no use in the both of us going, you know? What's the point of that? And French Claire 73 says, I'm going to start a new project today. Ooh, what project are you going to start? Embroidery or something else? I might put all of this away for today, like after the live, and try and like tidy the house up, like I said, like give it a nice sweep. Okay, so I'm gonna put these into, and we might not even be able to see the color changes on these, but we'll see. We'll see if it works. So all I'm doing is just adding that little change of color in the same direction as the stitches are already going. Yeah, so I'm not gonna all of a sudden do it like from here to over here, or even here to over here. We wanna keep it the same direction as the other stitches. We're just adding like a little hint of color. Now, because I chose white, it will be a little bit more difficult to see the color changes like that, because it really is just like a white and an off-white. But you can choose a pink, you can do a purple. The good thing with this flower is that there's so many different color variations that, I mean, if you just look up anemone on Google, you'll find all kinds of different colors. So there's no real right or wrong way to stitch these up if you want them to, you know, like look real. I'm just adding some in the middle. And I think I might do some, why is this blurry? Come on. Don't mess with me today, okay? I'm not having it. And I might do some down here as well, so that when we blend the purple in, oops, I almost knocked my water bottle off the table and it doesn't have a cap on it. So I think you can see this thread is way too long. You feel like you're getting an arm workout, you know, when your thread is so long, because you've got to pull your arm so far. Okay. Just about finished. I've got a knot on the back, but that's all right. And then I'm going to get the very, very light purple out that you saw and see if I can't blend some of that in as well. And I think I might go live later and do another one for people who are in the States who want to do, see, there's a big knot right there. I can feel it. I don't like to come up in the threads. I like to go down into the threads. So for me, when I do thread painting, I like to use a smaller size needle. So this is the needle I'm using right now, and this is the needle I usually use. So you can tell that it's much thinner. The eye is a lot smaller as well, so it keeps the thread in there because there's only one strand of thread. The shaft of the needle is also a lot smaller, so the holes that I'm making in the fabric with the needle are going to be much smaller, and therefore I'm not going to have a bunch of big holes that you can see on the edge. Yeah. So obviously, if you don't have a smaller needle, then you don't need one. And I also like to go down into the threads. So like I said before, I don't like to come up here. I like to come up where there's fabric down here and then go down into the threads. And I feel like that kind of blends the stitches a little bit more. The other thing you can do is really go like this. And it really blends in the holes that you've poked. And it makes them look a little bit softer. I feel like I chose a color that's very, very similar, almost too similar. Okay, and don't worry, because we'll do another thread painting down here, and it will be more purples. Okay, let's grab the light purple. See if we can't blend some of those in as well. So I don't actually think I finished what I was saying before, but if you are a little bit afraid to try, I still think you should try, but if you're a little bit afraid to try, then go ahead and just do a regular satin stitch. And you can still blend the colors a little bit or do a little bit of like a highlight with a different color. So say you've got like a light pink with like a dark pink center one, you can still do that. You can do like 2 or 3 strands even if you wanted. It makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, it's really something that you should try because it's not that difficult, you know? Okay. So now I have the light purple. I'm just gonna go not all the way. Most of the stitches before went all the way, but for these ones, I'm just gonna fill it in where we filled it in with purple before I ruined it with the black to show the stitch direction. Yeah, so it is really subtle. It just depends on what colors that you use. So if you go to Google or Pinterest, anything like that, and you just look up anemone flowers, you'll find so many different colored ones. Get out of my way. So obviously this is like a stylized drawing, yeah, because not all of them are kind of so flat and open like that and so square, because if you look at the outside, it is pretty square looking. But it gives a nice template for you to fill them in. So again, just I'm adding short ones, long ones. And I think I might go in with one more color. If you remember at the beginning of the video, I had 2 purples. One that's a little bit brighter. I might go in with a darker one. Susanna says, how gorgeous is that? Can't wait to start. I feel like thread painting is a little bit more intimidating. It looks more intimidating than it actually is. Let's do one more long one in the middle, just here. Okay. And then we can even go bolder, because this is still quite a soft color. This is the color I have picked for the middle that I'm gonna blend with another color. My back stitch was, I did 2 strands because I think the 1 strand wouldn't be enough to give it that lift for the edge. If you can see, let me just loosen this again. If you can see, it is a little bit off, except there where I did too many in a row. But you can see it's kind of raised off a little bit. Whereas I think with 1 strand, it wouldn't give it that look. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit more bold and do this really dark color. So what I have planned for the middle, like I showed you before, no worries. Someone said, how do you draw the pattern on the fabric? So you're gonna wanna go to YouTube and you look at the Stitch Along Prep, Isolate and Create Prep, and I show you how to trace the pattern onto the fabric like 4 different ways. So if you remember the picture that I'm going by, it has these like veins like this. So I'm just gonna do a couple more little ones. And I'll see if I can do that. With such dark color. And it might be too dark, and that's fine. But the thing with thread painting is that you can go back and you can add more of whichever color that you want. There's no real like kind of order. Kind of. Fuck's sake. You can always go back and add more of whichever color that you want to. I wish you could really see. I used to have a wood slice that was over here that would show you like, would like brighten the colors up. Ew, there's so much hair on it because it's felt, but it kind of brightens the colors up. So this is just 1 strand. All of the thread painting is 1 strand except for the outline, which was 2 strands. This is just a darker color, so it's gonna look like more bold. And I can already tell that I want to go back in with that lighter color purple and really do a bit more work with that. And like I said, don't be discouraged. Thread painting is something that it does take a long time. So when you see these thread painted whatevers, whether it be pets or whatever, they're going back all the time and adding more colors, more of this, more contrast, more details, all this kind of thing. So don't get discouraged when you're like, oh, now I have to go back with this one. Oh, it still doesn't look exactly the same. Oh, it still doesn't look right. It's not going to in like 20 minutes, you know? I'm taking 20 minutes. A bird just almost hit my window. It flew so close. Jesus. Whew. I was holding my breath and I didn't even realize it. So I'm just back to the light purple and I want to add a bit more so it travels up. Yeah, because I should probably do a house tour again because I think there's like more people now following than when I did one before. But I basically work in my kitchen. My kitchen is like a big L shape. And when I do the Instagram lives, I'm right up next to my kitchen sink and there's a huge window, like a 6-foot window, 7-foot window right in front of me. So I can see like everything because that's where like we get the most light. And there's also 2 skylights, one over there and one over there. So there's a lot of light here. And when it's too sunny, that's when I have to like put the shade down, which obviously I've taken the shade off because I'm going to make a new one. Like, how much more can I put here, you know? But yeah, because I have that big window, I can like see all the time like what's happening outside, which is good. But then it's also distracting because like when a bird tries to hit my window, it's a bit like, what are you doing? See, I like that a bit better because I feel like you can see the purple more. So when I go back again and do a bit more of the really dark purple, you'll really be able to see that brightness of the white and the purple there together. Jesse's just ran downstairs, so David might be home, I don't know. But yeah, I'll come back on later in the evening, and then you guys can see another one. And so what my plan is for these ones in the corners, I'll probably just do the white and the light purple, and then the 4 that make like the cross, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think I will add the dark purple. So it looks like these ones are in the background. So have a play with your colors. Choose some colors that, you know, get like a reference photo and like choose colors from the picture that you choose. That's probably the very, very best way to do it. Or you can have a look at what colors you have and pick one that's that color. But I will go back and do the middle. I told you what my plan was for it already. I'm going through a knot. There we go. And it's something that I honestly could just sit here and add to and add and add and add. You can see there's too many knots back there now. Okay. Kind of it brightens it up a bit. So yeah, so my plan for the middle is to mix these 2 colors, 1 strand of each, and then do some larger French knots around this circle here. Yeah. And then this little circle, I'm not going to do anything with. I'm going to fill in. And then on this line, I'm going to make some green, just green like little straight stitches, just really tiny. And then fill the inside with small, really small French knots. So like 1, let's see here. So like 1 strand, 1 wrap. So all of those little ones are going to go in the very center and fill up this whole thing like that. And then maybe some bigger ones like 3 strands, 3 wraps just around the outside edge, so that, again, it will look a little bit like this. So the middle here has the bigger ones on the outside and the smaller ones on the inside. So when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, how can I take this picture and which stitches can I use to make it look more real? Yeah? So I'm sorry that it's not the full flower just yet. I'll do a little bit of work on this. And I'll come back later today and do a little bit more with you guys. Sorry. So that you can see, if you're in the States, you can actually watch the stitching. Yeah? Sound good? So I hope you have a lovely Saturday. Tag me in what you're doing. And then it can feel like we're all a little bit more connected. Yeah? Also, if anybody doesn't have anyone to talk to or you're feeling a bit lonely, let me know and we can have a little chat. And I think that will be quite nice as well, because loneliness is not fun. And I think that this time of I was going to say this time of year, but actually just this situation period, when everyone's stuck in their homes, it can really feel lonely, especially if you're just one person. You know, if you don't have a partner, or you're not with your friends, or meaning like your friends aren't your roommates, or even with your parents, anything like that. So there you go. Let me know. So we've done this little bit in 30 minutes. So don't, it's a shit-tuation. A shit-tuation. Yes, Susanna. So don't be discouraged if you're like, oh my gosh, this is taking so long and I can't do it so fast, blah, blah, blah. It's okay. We'll probably work on this for the next week and until we do this one. And this one will be purples, and it's a pansy. So, you know, purple pansies. So I'll talk with you later, and I hope you have a lovely day. All right? Bye.